You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-Mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-Mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon, welcome back. Today is Friday, 12th day of August, 2022. Thanks so much for joining us, whoever you are, wherever you are. We're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every single day. The first live broadcast is private. It's for members only and those taking the 1-week free trial. If you've not taken the free trial, in a few minutes when Michael comes on, he'll show you exactly what you need to do to take your 1-week free trial. That's 5 days of access to everything we do, everything we offer, no credit card required, so that you can make a well-informed and intelligent decision if what we do is right for you. The second live broadcast, that's the one happening right now. There's 2 ways to join this broadcast. You don't have to be a member, you don't have to be on a free trial. The best way to join this afternoon broadcast is go to mytradingiq.com, eminitrainingschool.com, cfrn.net, the mothership. On each of those pages, you'll find a place to click for the afternoon broadcast. You'll get a 30-second registration page. 30 seconds is about how long it'll take you to fill it out. Once you've done that, going forward, what will happen every day, right before the broadcast starts, you'll get an email. In the email, there will be a link. All you have to do is click the link in the email, and it automatically logs you in to the platform. Now, I say that's the better way because it gives you access to the question box so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Now, of course, there will be days you're out of the office, away from your desktop, but you still want to join the afternoon broadcast. We've got you covered. All you need is an internet-connected device. It could be your phone, it could be your tablet, it could be your PC, it could be a Mac. Point that browser to youtube.com/CFRN. It's easy to remember, youtube.com/CFRN. Not only do we simulcast this broadcast across 2 different platforms, we also archive every afternoon broadcast on our YouTube channel. Currently, there are over 2,000 daily live broadcasts archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. So, with that said, let's open with a word of prayer, as we do. Today, we're going to talk about praying for others. Of course, we always, as believers, pray for ourselves and our family and for our home, for our business. But there's more to prayer than just that. James 5:16. Therefore, confess your faults to each other and pray for each other so that you may be healed. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. Now, in some translations, it will say confess your sins to each other. I don't get nitpicky on the various translations. However, I think there's a big difference between admitting your faults to each other and your sins to each other. Your sins should be confessed to God. Your faults, your problems, your defects of character, those you share with those you trust so that they can pray for you, and as they share their situation with you, you can pray for them. Sin is between you and God. The bottom line, we've been called to pray. The heartbeat of every Christian should be to seek our Father any chance that we have. Yet we miss a great opportunity when we hoard our prayer life to ourselves, never considering others who may be in need. Yes, there are those around us just waiting for someone to simply say, "Can I pray for you?" I love the words we find in Job 42:10. It says, "After Job had prayed for his friends, the Lord restored his fortunes and gave him twice as much as he had before." The story of Job is a powerful example of the importance of prayer. Job had lost everything: his children, his wife, his livestock, and more. Everything. Yet in this moment, Job removes his attention from his own problems and frustrations. Instead, he prays for his friends. And we see that God responds to this act of selflessness with complete restoration. There's great power in prayer. Our friends need others who can pray and intercede for them. When we do so, we will find peace in taking our eyes off of our own needs to care for another person. May we be intentional about finding an opportunity to pray, whether through a text message or in an old church parking lot. May we be bold enough to pray. Pray this prayer with me. Heavenly Father, I thank you for opportunities to pray for others. I ask that you bring people to my attention who are hurting and are in need. Give me the courage to pray boldly and the words that will resonate in their heart. I pray against fear and insecurity that would cause me to stay silent. Help me to move and speak by your Spirit. I thank you that there is power in prayer, and I am believing in you for blessings on behalf of those I pray for. Show up in mighty ways as you always do. In Jesus' name, we believe and pray. Amen. And everybody said amen. Let me give you the numbers here now from around the world. We're going to start here at home in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. The Dow is up 246 points. The NASDAQ is up 162 points. That's 1.25%. S&P 500 is up 41. That's just shy of 1%. And the Russell 2000, our man in the street, up 26 points. That's a little over 1.25% on its way to 1.5%. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 727 points. That's over 2.5%. The Shanghai dropped 5 points. The Hang Seng gained 93. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE up 34. The DAX up 101. The CAC up 9. That gives us a mixed day in Asia. a green day in the UK. So far, it's a big green Radio Friday here in the US of A. With that, we'll go to Michael and get a recap of what happened this morning in the live training room. Valerie, out there, happy anniversary to you. I know you're not tuned in. You're out enjoying your day off. But she did give me a recap this morning before she embarked on her day off. That's how dedicated she is. So I'll share that with you after Michael gives us a recap of what happened in the live training room. And there have been some additional alerts that have come out today. And sometime over the weekend, she will recap those and then post in the various Telegram channels the weekly recap. Michael, I can see your charts. I can see your screens. So let me hit mute on my end, and you can get busy.
All right, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, the 12th day of August, 2022. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com. On this page, you can scroll all the way to the bottom, fill this in right here. All we ask for is your first name, your phone number, and your email. You can tell us a little bit about your trading goals so we can prepare for one-on-one training with you. We really do the one-on-one training. You can also just click on any one of these things in here, right here. Grab a seat for our 5 days of training and trading. Any one of those, just click on that and you will be brought to a sign-up sheet for it, right? You sent all the information you need to get in there. Now, again, I want to just point out some other things about this, mytradingiq.com. This is a relatively new look. In here, we have all our trading platforms you can easily download right here. Just go to mytradingiq.com platforms. All the instructions, excuse me, all the instructions, sorry about that. All the instructions are in here to download the NinjaTrader, the TradingView, and the DT Pro. There are also a bunch of videos in here and a trade handout. Okay, in the trade handout you can download. It's got the rules for the trade setups that we're doing that I'm going to go over right now. All right, so the spreadsheet. Now, if you, again, that was mytradingiq.com. All right, the spreadsheet. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom today. Oops, hang on, that did not land in the right place. Here we go. Okay, today is the 12th day of August, 2022. We made 53 ticks in crude, 6 ticks in gold, and 21 ticks on the ES. That put us at plus 852.5 on the morning session. Today it took 6 minutes and 4 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $120 a contract, and we took 22 trades this morning. So on the month now, we're at $6,827 a contract. That's over 10 trading days, averaging $682 per contract per 2-hour trading day. If you were to quit trading when you get your goal every day, hang on, let me get down to that in a minute. So far this year, we've gotten our goal on 153 out of 153 days, and we've gone 214 days since our last negative day. That puts us at $159,806 per contract on the year, averaging $1,044 per contract per 2-hour business day. Okay. If you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day and you were to add 1 contract per month, I jumped into that spot. I skipped all this. I don't know how. I don't know what happened there. All right. So if you were to do that and add 1 contract per month and your goal was $100 profit per day, you would only have to work 25.63 hours so far this year, and you would have averaged $3,527 per hour during those 25.63 hours. Okay. What that means basically is like today I had to work 6 minutes, and with 8 contracts on after 6 minutes, I was up $960 a contract. Okay. That's the way it averages out to that much. All right. So let's get into everything that we did. Now, we didn't have a ton of trades. We'll start out with gold because we only had a couple of trades on gold. I know it looks like a lot more, but it was really only a couple. We had opportunities in here to trade, but we ended up missing them. That one, that one, that one, and that one. Missed them all. Got a break even on this one. Picked up 6 ticks on that one. This was our moment in time. I was thinking at the time that it was going to, I don't know exactly where price was at the time, that it was going to go up and come down. It was going to do this leg and do a pullback up and then a push down and pull back up and push down. It did a tiny push up and a push down, and then it went up further and it started to push up and down, and it gave a whole bunch of little bit of chop in here. It did give us some opportunities where you could see all the right ribbon and the right color. One there, one there. Then it got really choppy here toward the end. There was one more here at 11 o'clock on gold. And since then, it really hasn't given up all that much. All right, so there wasn't a ton of opportunity today on gold. I'll do crude oil next. Crude is where we got the gold for the day, and it's also where we had our first stop out for the day. All right, it was right in here. We stopped out on this very first trade. It wasn't actually even a trade. It didn't actually hit the BBC right there. I thought it did, but I took the trade, and I know my arrow was pointing the wrong way, but that's because I was talking about it earlier. But it was minus 10 ticks on that. Then right here, I took this trade. That one didn't actually hit the BBC either. I know it looks like it like that, but if you blow it up, you will see it. Neither one of those actually hit the BBC. Here it is, right here. That didn't hit it, and that didn't hit it either. So I had to wait for the trend line trade over here, but I grabbed that and got 14 ticks on that. Then I stopped out again on this one. This one went so fast I didn't have time to bump my stop to 10 ticks. It was still at 8. And so it stopped me out with 8 ticks. And if it would have stayed at 10, it would have kept me in the trade, but it didn't really matter. So it was minus 10 there. It was plus 14 there, minus 8 there. So overall, between these 3 trades, I'm at minus 4. Then I got plus 16 on this one. That put me at minus 12, and that's where I got the goal for plus 12. That's where I got the goal for the day. There were a couple of more trades in here that I missed. One in there. There wasn't anything here because the bars were the wrong color. Okay, then we get in here. I did something here. I don't know what, but I didn't finish it. And we got 10 ticks here. That put us at, we were at plus 12. We got 10 more that put us at plus 22. Then we had the moment in time. I didn't really know what it was going to do. I thought it was just going to go down, and it did go down. And during that moment in time while I was talking, there were a couple of nice trades. After that, there was one blue off of blue right here that you could have taken. One trend line trade right here, another there, and another there. Over here, we were at 22. We picked up 5 more ticks to get us to 27. Then we had a break even. Then we had a nice trade here that got us from 27 to 45. We had 18 ticks there, I guess. A break even in there, and then one last trade here. It looks like we got 8 ticks on to get us to 53. All right, I remember at the end saying it was going to get down here to 92.10, but I was doing the spreadsheet at the time when I hit 92.10. During the break, let's see, just the right color off the right color. I don't really see any of them. There were some nice trend trades that happened in here during the break, but nothing that was blue off of blue or red off of red. Okay, and that was crude oil this morning. Now the ES. Let's see, we started on the ES. Our very first trade on the ES was right here. We picked up 15 ticks on that one. That was a nice trade, and everybody had a chance to ride that one out with me. There were a couple more, I'm sorry. A moment in time in here, I really didn't know what it was going to do there either. Right, gold was the only one I really had an idea with, and the other two weren't really giving us much information. But after the first trade of plus 15 on the ES, we stopped out right there. That put us down to 5. Then we had 2 ticks that put us to plus 7. And then we had 4 ticks to put us to plus 11. Then another 4 ticks to put us at plus 15. And then 6 ticks right here to put us at plus 21. We were identifying areas that it should go up to in here, but the slingshot down here wasn't letting us get into anymore. This one here, actually, I shouldn't have gotten into. The slingshot wasn't right on that. And then it really didn't give anything the rest of the afternoon, right? Or the rest of the morning, I should say. And that was it. That was it for the ES. That was it for crude. And that was it for gold this morning. Right, so we had a pretty good morning. It was all right. We didn't miss too much. But it was, bring this back up. Here it is. It was all right overall this morning. Okay. It was an open house, so we did have quite a few people in there that would that were wanting information, asking questions, and we encouraged the questions. I encourage them in here too for everyone who's in here. If you have any questions, you should be typing them in. All right. So here we go. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 12th day of August, 2022. We made 53 ticks in crude, 6 ticks in gold, and 21 on the ES. Put us plus 852.5 on the morning session. Today it took 6 minutes and 4 trades to get to the goal for the day. that point, I was up $120 a contract, and I took a total of 22 trades this morning. So on the month now, we're up $6,827 a contract. That's over 10 trading days, averaging $682 per contract per 2-hour trading day. We've now gotten our goal for the day on 153 out of 153 days, and we've traded 214 days, consecutive business days since our last negative day. That's going to be hitting a year pretty soon. The end of next month, I'm knocking on wood right now. Our last down day was like 28 September last year. Okay. So on the year now, we're up $159,806 a contract. That's over 153 business days on the year, averaging $1,044 per contract. That's profit per day during those 2 hours for one contract on the year. All right. So if you were to quit trading when you got your goal for the day, the goal being $100 profit per day per contract, and you add one contract per month, so that means the second month is $200, third month is $300, now it'd be $800. You were to quit trading when you got that and add one contract a month. So far, you would have only had to work 25.63 hours this year, and you would have averaged $3,527 per hour. Okay, what that means is, like on a day like today, where I only had to do 6 minutes to get the goal, with 8 contracts, that 6 minutes would be $960. I would have got my goal, but done after 6 minutes. The total on the year, if you were to do that, everything exactly the same as I did, then it would be $90,417. That's a gross number. That's not a net number, but that's where it would start. Okay. And that's if you added one contract per month and your goal was only $100 per contract per business day. Now back here. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com. There are several places on here you can sign up for it. There's one right here. There's one all the way down at the bottom. There's a couple more in between. Just click on those and give us the information we asked for. It's not much, just your name, email, and tell us what's plaguing you with your trading, if you have anything, or if you're just starting out, tell us that too. All right. And that is it. With that, we can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Excellent. I can see almost your chart. There, now I can see it.
Okay, recap of the recap.
Today, it took 6 minutes and 4 trades to get to $120 per contract.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, guys, as I said, Valerie is out today, but as she headed out on her day off to celebrate her anniversary, she left me a recap as of 9 a.m. this morning. As I said earlier, over the weekend sometime, she'll recap the alerts from today and add them so that we have a final recap for the week. But where we stood as of 9 a.m. before any alerts went out today, we had a total of 35 alerts since the market opened Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. 9 never triggered. That gave us 26 actionable alerts, of which 6 or 23% would have been stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade. The Logic 247 alerts come out around the clock as opportunity presents. On a typical week, there will be between 50 and 100 alerts. We published last night alert number 11,500. Every one of those a trend trade as defined by the 30-minute chart, price, and the BBC. Out of the 11,500, there are no counter trend trades. Not that there's anything inherently wrong with a counter trend trade. They just don't carry the same high probability, low risk as a trend trade. And again, we're in week 210. Now, our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts, as opposed to the logic alerts, which are based on current price action. The concierge alerts are based on historic price action. And they don't come out around the clock. They're posted shortly after the Globex opened every evening. Globex opens at 6 p.m. The Friday session, if you trade stocks, the Friday session began for you this morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern when the live training room opened. But if you're a futures trader, the Friday session began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. There are two numbers issued for each market. We cover the S&P, the Dow, the Russell, crude, the NQ, gold, silver, the euro, and bonds. We'll walk through each one of the individual markets. If you want to grab a screenshot, you're welcome to do that. Okay. Now, again, the CTAs are based on historic price action. The logic alerts are based on current price action. When historic price action and current price action meet up, that's where you'll find some of your best high probability, low risk trade opportunities. With that, we will go to the daily chart of the S&P. That's where we start every day. And whatever market you trade, I encourage you, as you begin your trading session, whether it's in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, London Open, look at the daily chart. You want to understand what institutional traders are doing because they are the ones that move the market. We had a high put in back here on March 29th. We had a low put in on June 17th. We have begun a leg to the upside. So if we can close above yesterday, and we got rejected at the 62% reverse fib yesterday. No surprise. We anticipated the struggle at the 50. Okay. Buyers won, got us up to the 62, but yesterday we were quickly rejected. However, today we're right at the 62. When we did the broadcast yesterday, the rejection was already in place. So there is the potential for us to close above the 62% reverse fib and above yesterday's high. If that happens, I'm going to pull down the reverse fibs, which are drawn from the high to the low, and I'm going to draw from the low to the high. I did that here on the show a couple days ago. Every one of the afternoon broadcasts are archived on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN. There's over 2,000 daily live broadcasts archived there. So for those who are new to CFRN, it's a really good idea for you to not only watch the afternoon broadcast. If you're unable to because of a day job, then of course you can watch it at your leisure. But what I really want you to do is to scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, a year, 2 years, and just pick a day at random. You don't have to watch the entire broadcast, okay? Just fast forward to the part where Michael is doing the recap of the live training room, and then fast forward to the part where you see me bring up the daily chart. This will help you greatly understand our goals, what we do, how we do it, why we do it. It's all there for you, okay? With the average show running about 2 hours, with 2,000 daily live broadcasts, that's 4,000 hours of viewing. So you don't need to watch them all, and you don't need to watch the entire broadcast. Just want you to get your mind wrapped around the fact that we still use the same underlying principles for everything that we do that we were using 6 weeks ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, all the way back to the beginning of the live training room in 2008. The underlying principles upon which markets operate have not changed and will not change since the inception of the markets. Price flows across all markets and all time frames exactly the same. Now, people with a lot of different courses to sell. Will tell you you have to trade crude one way and the S&P the other way and gold a different way. Well, I think you see from just watching the live training room, when Michael goes from one chart to the next to the other, he doesn't change his indicators, he doesn't tweak anything, we don't curve fit data. We're very transparent in everything that we do. The alerts come out well ahead of them triggering, both the logic and the CTA. It's trading naked. That's looking to the future, where you have no idea of what market structure is going to look like when that alert actually triggers, which is why it's so important that you learn the mechanical model that's taught in the live training room, so that if you decide you want to become a discretionary trader, you build on that mechanical model that you learn in the live training room. So we know we have resistance here at the 62% reverse fib. Support is at the low of the day, which is sitting right on top of blue and climbing, and right on top of this little rectangle that we drew before we got back to the 50% reverse fib, because we knew that was going to be a sticky area. And when the president announced we had zero inflation, the markets kind of went wild. Okay. Question is cooler thinking going to prevail? Okay. If we can close above the 62, then the next area you need to look for resistance is going to be up around 42.95, 42.90 to 42.95, and then above that, 4,500 to 4,505, and then 46.30. Okay. Now the green line, if you're new, it's called the BBC. Just stands for bull bear cross. When price crosses above the green line, that's bullish, we anticipate higher prices. When price closes below the BBC, that's bearish, we anticipate lower prices. Above the BBC, higher prices. The other indicator, called the CFMA1, I refer to as simply blue and climbing, bullish, red and falling, bearish. The pullback to the BBC holds more often than it doesn't. Now that's every market, that's every time frame. Think about it. The pullback holds more often than it doesn't. Okay? And price always reverts to the mean. And in our case, the mean happens to be green, and we call it the BBC, bull bear cross. So a quick glance at the daily chart before you start trading lets you know what institutional money is trying to do. Hedge funds, the Goldman Sachs of the world, they watch daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I watch 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. Why? Their pockets are much deeper. They can withstand a larger drawdown, and they can stay with a profitable position much longer than most of us would. So, you don't need to stare at this chart all day, but you need to know where you're at from the bigger picture. You work your way down. From the daily chart, we go to the 30-minute chart. Okay. The CTA numbers that I just showed you, the long trigger was 42.32. In most cases, and today's no different, once price started climbing towards the trigger, you had plenty of opportunity to get your goal for the day before we even got to the trigger. Okay. The CTAs are designed to be forward guidance for the entire session. The whole purpose of the alerts is not just so you can trade the alerts and make money without having to learn how to trade. If you do that, you are selling yourself short, because you have an opportunity to learn how to trade so that you can live the rest of your life not being dependent upon anyone to tell you when to get in or when to get out, because you are able to read the chart like a newspaper or even a mystery novel. Okay? It's impossible to know with certainty what's going to happen next in the markets. However, it is possible to know what the next high probability move is. Over the last 14,500 logic alerts, we know that on average 20% of the alerts will get stopped out based on the $300 risk profile and the fact that order flow can change when you're in the middle of a trade. So when you get stopped out, don't beat yourself up unless you've done something wrong. You should evaluate trades that are stopped out to see if you did anything wrong. But in many cases, it will be that order flow simply shifted in the midst of the trade. All right. S&P is still climbing. The trigger 4232. Oh, once an alert triggers, whether it's the logic or CTA, it will almost always trigger again. In fact, multiple times. If you've been watching the afternoon broadcast for any length of time, you know that 3, 5, 7, even 10 triggers off one alert, not unusual. Why is that? Because important prices, important areas are almost always tested. So this first trigger ran up to 42.36. That's 4 points, $50 a point, $200 per contract traded. And then price got back below the trigger, triggered again, took us up to 42.37 and a half. That's 5.5 points. And then we get back below the trigger, we trigger one last time, and we make a run to 42.35 and a quarter. That's 3.25 points, $50 a point. And then we get back below the trigger, and we make a run to 42.39.75. That's 7.75 points. And then back below the trigger. And currently, the high of the session, 42.54. So from 32 to 54, that's 22 points, $50 a point. It's $1,100 per contract traded. Once you earn the right to trade 10 contracts, that's 11 grand. But when you become a passport holder, you don't start trading 10 contracts. You don't start trading one contract live. You start in the simulator until you learn the strategy, until you learn to read the indicators, until you learn the importance of the weekly trading zones. The 2420 blueprint is designed to help you go from 1 to 20 contracts over a period of 24 months. So it's not get rich quick, okay? You already know how those kinds of things work out. They don't. We're not teaching you a parlor trick or a circus act. There's no smoke and mirrors. We're teaching you how markets work, how price flows, and how you can build a profitable trading business if you follow the blueprint. Now, once you put together 10 consecutive days in a row in Sim, where you reach your goal in 10 trades or less, the blueprint will give you the green light to go live with one contract. Now that you're live, your goal is to increase your account balance by $2,000. Once you accomplish that, the blueprint will give you the green light to add a second contract. The big difference between contract number 1 and contract number 2 is your first contract is funded with your startup capital, but your second contract is funded with profit you actually earned in the market. The blueprint will tell you when it's time to add number 3, number 4, number 5, number 10. But you only add one at a time, and you only add with profit you earned in the market. If you follow that formula, it will make it much more difficult to blow up another account. We anticipate resistance here. We haven't even got there yet. The final trade to target on every long alert is the weekly zone above, and on every short, the weekly zone below. We opened last night below the BBC. We pulled back. The pullback held, but price was, or red and falling was directly below price. So we know that's going to be potential support. It tells us that red and falling is on its way to becoming blue and climbing, which means the market's getting ready to attempt to move in the other direction. When blue and climbing gets directly above price, as it did here on this candle, you can see that changed blue and climbing to red and falling and walked price down to the lows of yesterday. And this little candle right here is where we closed, and this candle is where we opened. Once we got above the BBC, the pullback held. Remember, these are 30-minute candles. A lot happens inside of a 30-minute candle. And so we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, total of 8 triggers off of one alert. Important prices, important areas are almost always tested. On the Dow, here's where we opened. Pull back to the BBC just like the ES. Okay. Dropped to red and falling as it became blue and climbing. Took us above the BBC. Took us up to the trigger at 465. And the first trigger ran up to 489. We'll call it 85. That's 20 points, $5 a point, $100 per contract traded. We then dip back below, trigger again. This time we run up to 495. So that's 30 points, $5 a point. Back below the trigger, trigger again. This time from 65, we make it up to 82, just shy of $100 per contract traded. Pull back to the BBC, the pullback holds. Up we go again. Not all triggers are created equal. When you've got red and falling and a long trigger sitting just above it, you got to make sure price really clears that red and falling with some conviction. This move traveled to 33,500 and then back below the trigger. Red and falling turns to blue and climbing, and that takes us to the high of the session at 33,575. So that's a little over $500 per contract traded. And you have to anticipate resistance. If the Dow continues higher, just like the S&P, you got to look left to see where resistance is. If that resistance is cleared, then you've got a lot of open sky overhead. This is the highest weekly trading zone this week for the Dow. So if we were to come off, it would be not really a surprise. We've published the zone since December 14th of 2009. And there are many weeks where price will get above the highest zone or below the lowest zone. However, by close of business on Friday, what typically happens is price is back to the zone or below it, or if it's the lowest zone, it's back to it or above it. Today may be one of those rare occasions where we actually close above the highest weekly zone. So that's the story on the Dow, the Russell. 1997 was the trigger. We only triggered once. Market opened here. There's that same pullback to the BBC, just like you saw on the S&P, just like you saw on the Dow. Red and falling turns to blue and climbing. We get our bullish cross. Price pulls away. Price pulls back to physically touch the BBC. Up close. We run to the zone. We get rejected the first time. The second time we stall out. And then this candle opens here at 11 a.m. Eastern. And from 97, we've traded up to 2009. It's 12 points, $50 a point. Now, don't try to get out at the swing high or swing low because that's not possible. You don't know it's a swing high or swing low till after the fact, which is why it's important that you have both a business plan and a trading plan. 9 out of 10 traders fail. I know you don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. But there's a reason, and we've solved that problem. 9 out of 10 traders don't have a live teacher in an interactive environment 2 hours a day for life. 9 out of 10 traders don't have a business plan. 9 out of 10 traders don't have a trading plan. Those are two very different documents, and the 2420 blueprint will help you create both of those. Now, the high yesterday, 2008.7. Now, we're always skeptical of a new high that's only a new high by just a couple points. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out if we get the pull back to the weekly zone, by which time the BBC could be there, and that would be support times 2, which would offer the opportunity for another leg to the upside. On the NQ, here's where we opened. There's that same pullback. It didn't quite make it to the BBC, but it made it to the weekly trading zone. When price moves up to a zone, we expect resistance. When price drops to a zone, we expect support. Resistance. Right? Okay. Support, support, support. So you would, of course, anticipate this next zone to be resistance. The long trigger on the CTA was 13,455. Lots of opportunity on the way up. The first trigger at 455 took us to 462. It's $140 per contract traded. Then we got back below the trigger, pull back to the BBC held to the tick, and then that took us to 483, which is 32 points at $20 a point. And on this pullback, the low was exactly 455. To be an official retrigger, it needs to go at least one tick below the trigger. However, the more familiar you get and the more comfortable you get with the strategy and the methodology that we teach you and the indicators we provide you, then you would have certainly wanted to participate in this move, which has now put in a high at 499. So that's just shy of $1,000 per contract traded. On crude, again, the vertical line that you see on the chart that separates today, Friday, from yesterday, Thursday. This is the opening candle at 6 p.m. Eastern last night. We pull down to the BBC. We attempt a rally to the upside. We fail to take out this high on this move up. That tells us that this trend, where we had a high, and a higher high, and a higher high, and a higher high, and a higher high, that's over. See, this whole move was above the BBC. and we get below the BVC. The trigger is 93.20, and on this trigger, we dropped to a low of 92.42. The zone below is 92.30/35. So from 92.42, let's just call it 92.50. That's $700 plus per contract traded. And then price got back above the trigger, pulled back to the BVC. The pullback held. It held. It held. Eventually it won't hold, but it holds more often than it doesn't. Okay? And then we make that $700 trip back down to the zone, and now we've been consolidating, and we spiked it all the way down. See this low here? We spiked that low by just a bit, and now we're consolidating for 1, 2, 3 hours right at the weekly trading zone, 92.30/35. If price, now red and falling is directly below price, as it was here. Support, you can see the support. You can see the support. If price should manage to break the support area right here, then you got a very nice window of opportunity right here and down here. Okay. But right now, price is just hanging out at the weekly zone. On gold, this first trigger from 1809, that's worth $60. Then we get back below the trigger, trigger again, and we make a run up to 1814. That's $500 per contract traded. Price pulls back to the BVC and the weekly trading zone, both of which we expect to be good support. Either one individually we would expect to be support. This is support times 2. We trigger again, and the high is 1814.70. So that's $570 per contract traded. That's what the market made available. On silver, 2039 is a trigger. Okay, so we basically got rejected. We got rejected. We finally managed to make it through the trigger up to 2046. So that's 7 pennies. 2 pennies is $100. So that's $350 per contract traded right there. If you've earned the right to trade 2 contracts or 3 contracts, you can do the math. Price gets back below the trigger, triggers again, and this time it takes us up to a high at 2054. We pulled back to blue and climbing, which served as good support, and it pushed us up to 2057. So that's $900 per contract traded, and we've not yet reached the final trade 2 target. On the euro, here's where we opened. As you can see, the pullback to the BVC held here and here. We then trigger, and we run to the target at 102.655/660. And that brings us all the way back to the daily chart, where we're stuck at that 62% reverse fib. Perhaps we'll see some buying activity come in this afternoon, closing us up. It's important that we close above yesterday's high. Okay, that would be bullish. If, as we head into the weekend, we get rejected a second time, that's bearish, and we should start thinking about the pullback first to the 50% reverse fib, and then to the BBC. Price always reverts to the mean. If you've already taken your free trial and you're ready to become a part of the CFRN family, you get your passport at eminifuturestrading.com. The passport is lifetime access to everything we do, everything we've ever done, and whatever we do in the future. As I said, 9 out of 10 new traders unfortunately fail. The primary reason is because they don't have a teacher. Well, I bought these books and I bought these videos. We got nothing against books or videos, but they're no substitute for a living, breathing teacher putting on, taking off trades live in real time while you trade along in the simulator and you ask questions and get answers live in real time. That's the way to learn anything, especially trading. Along with having access to the live training room, 2 hours a day, every day, for life, there's no recurring fees, there's no upsells, there's no gotchas. All of that stuff that insults your intelligence, we just want no part of that. Along with the 2 hours of live training every day, you have access to unlimited one-on-one mentoring. Now, unlike your cell plan that offers unlimited data, there's a cap in tiny print. We don't have any tiny print. Unlimited means unlimited. Now, in the 2 hours in the morning, you should be able to ask all the questions that you need to ask. But if you just somehow things aren't clicking, then book a mentoring session. It's that simple. You have, with your passport, access to the live training room, unlimited one-on-one mentoring, the methodology and strategy we teach you, and the indicators we provide you with. Work not only with futures, but stocks, crypto, Forex. So whatever you want to trade, our strategy and our indicators will serve you well because price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. You also, as a passport holder, receive the Logic 247 alerts around the clock as they're published. You also receive the Concierge Trade Alert Report, which comes out every evening shortly after the Globex Open. You have access to the Thursday night members-only workshop, which we had a great workshop last night. For those of you that are already members, if you did not or were not able to attend live, if you get a chance, watch it over the weekend. It's in the Telegram channel. Now, I know a lot of people have phobia for some reason about a messaging client. I don't quite understand it. It's how people communicate today. If you want to ask me a question, you send me an email. It's going to get buried under 1,000 other emails, and I might get back to you someday, and I might not because I don't ever see the email. But if you send me a question in Telegram, which by the way is free, you should have it on your phone, on your tablet, on your PC, your Mac. There's a channel for the weekly trading zones. There's a channel for the Concierge Trade Alerts. There's a channel for the Logic 247 alerts. There is a members-only discussion group. There's a trial discussion group. And we even have a channel called Breeze, where that's where we go to shoot the breeze about things that are not trading related. Okay? Whatever hang up you have about Telegram, get over it. If you want to truly be a part of the family, if you want to truly be a part of the community, it's important that you have Telegram running throughout the trading day. Okay? All right, I'll leave it at that. Telegram.org. I won't go into any lengthy explanations on how to install it because it's so simple, I don't know how you can miss it. Okay? But if you have a problem, if you have an issue, and if you want some help, you can call 949-42-EMINI. You can send an email to support@cfrn.net. But if you just go to telegram.org and follow the instructions, the installation process is under 5 minutes. There's no pop-ups, no banners, no ads. It's secure, it's fast, and I don't know how we ever lived without it. And once you get over whatever hang-up you have, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. Okay, let's go to our good word for the day and wrap this week up. Our topic is to be wise with your money. If I can find my notes. Can't pull up my note app. Okay, with that, we're going to just wrap it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.